and stuff where you're worthy of getting the love back that you give to somebody else. And it's a virtuous thing to say I love somebody and that person doesn't love me or doesn't love me the same way or whatever. But when it's not equal like that, then there's somebody who's using the other person for something else. And unfortunately, we all have this innate thing to where we want to feel needed, right? And so is it really that you love somebody? Is it really in that situation that you really love this person? Or is it really that, you feel needed and that person needs you for something, but also that person is in a certain stage or certain area of their life that you are able to, I don't know, it's kind of you feel better about yourself. Somebody needs you and there's nothing that you need them for. And
right.
And it kind of it shouldn't be that way. It should be that you should be in a relationship with somebody that you can contend with. That you're both, you're both striving for things. Yeah,
well,
you
here's
don't
the thing.
have to
You
rescue
said you're
them.
married
They're
now.
for you,
Are you
you're
married?
there for them.
Suzanne?
Yes.
See, now that's kind of like the thing. Now, that person that did all those videos and all that awful shit, that's the guy that, no matter what, picks up the phone because, like they're still there. Like she pays his bills and does all that stuff and has done all those things, even though he's done just horrific shit to her. And that's kind of like the thing. Now, I feel like I'm the husband, but there's always going to be sort of that sort of draw to it. You know what I mean? Like there's that person that's just there that does all this stuff that you don't know if it's love, you don't know what it is, but you're doing it, even though it hurts you, it hurts them, it's just a miserable thing all the time. But look, you're still there, like you're with your husband, and it was a story in your life and a past and a thing that happened that you got through it. And I don't know, you still found that person who loves you back that way. And I think for her, that person is him, and it has been for a long time, and it's the reason that she's got involved with it in the first place and stuff like that, but I'm the husband. I'm the guy that, like, this person does love me back, and he does give me the same thing that I, treats me the way that I want to be treated, and you know what I mean? But there's still that thing, like you said, even you being in a relationship, you still do it. You still, like, no matter what. And I think for a while, that might be a dynamic of us. And, like, because she already told him, hey, I'm done with this. I'm going to be living with David. I want to be with him. I'm not going to be doing this anymore. Like, out of respect, and she told me the truth about it. She's like, yeah, I told him that I want to be with you, and then I'm going to come live with you, and then I'm not doing this shit anymore. And, he called, like, he didn't call me, but started sending messages and shit to me, like, I got to tell you some shit man to man, dog. I just ignored him. Like, I don't care. I don't care what he has to say. Even if he said I wouldn't believe him anyway, or if I did, maybe I would. Who cares? But the fact is like, the line of communication is open. Like, it's real, and it's honesty, and it's not trying to hold things back or lie. Like, we have to give the most authentic version of ourselves because, like, I don't want this to be bad. Like, I know this is bad for me. It's been bad for me. It's awful, but here's the thing. Like, you have to be mature enough to say, hey, look, this thing is in my life right now, and I eventually will be able to deal with it. But right now it's, like, super hard for me, and I hope you, like, respect me and care about me and don't, don't trust me. Like, let me process this shit and deal with it because I do love you. I do want to be your wife. I do want this. I don't want to have this life anymore. Like, but you got to let me go through it and deal with it,
Yeah. Yep. And we've moved past that, and everything's good,
Does your husband know that? Like, were you with your husband when that still took place at all?
sort of dating.
Right. See, and it worked. You know what I mean? You got away from it. You did the thing. I mean, mostly, like, there were still times where it was weird and it was hard, but you guys, like, you trusted each other enough and you loved each other back enough and reciprocated it that it became, like, your thing, you know?
Yeah. He even came with me, I think, once to go drop off money, so.
Oh, really?
See, now,
weird,
does that make him the doormat? Does that make him an idiot for trusting you and believing you and allowing you to do that? And how could he love you? And does he really love you if he's letting you do that kind of shit? No. He loves you. It didn't fucking matter.
He got to see what I was dealing with, so there was nothing to have to worry about. You know.
But that's authentic. That's real. It wasn't like a lie or hiding. You weren't trying to do. It was just like, hey, baby, this is what's up. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Like, and it just, that's the kind of fucking authenticity I want in my life, and that's the kind of shit that, you know, that I'm going for.
But okay, and I'm not here to try to burst your bubble or anything like that, but I mean, I've been friends with you for many years, and I know a little bit more of the situation than I'm letting on. And I remember in this situation when you guys dated beforehand, and it wasn't just like that. I mean, like, you were miserable about a lot of things that were going on. You were upset about a lot
that we're thinking about.
It seems like it would be, unless this is like multiple situations with like somebody with like, you know, with some.
Well, see, I had a relationship with a girl with problems and alcohols and drugs and stuff, and I didn't want anything to do with it. Shit grossed me out. I was like, ugh, get the fuck away from me, weirdo. Like, I wasn't about protection or love or sympathy or anything. I was like, this is awful. Like, ugh, no way. I mean, yeah, there was that. That was never anything with Beth or, you know, with her. It's just never. It's not like that.
It seems like I remember you dating somebody who was having some drug issues, and you were like, she was coming and staying with you, almost living with you, but then like would be gone for a few days and things like that, and like you were like really head over heels for her and everything like that, but like it did seem like, you know, you were not happy with the situation and that you were like very upset about a lot of things that were going on.
I think that's like a game of telephone where I may have been venting like frustrations and dealing with that. She was never gone for like days at a time. She didn't do all that stuff and leave. She was with me always. And that was like a part of the thing, is that she was completely sober when she was with me. She had 2 times where she made a mistake and she hit it a couple times, and, you know, she told me about it. She was miserable. She's like, I have to tell you, I fucked up. You're going to be so mad. And I'm like, I'm not going to be mad. Just tell me the truth. And, you know, she's like, yeah, I smoked. I'm sorry. And, you know, and that the part was that she felt so guilty about it, and that thought that, like, I was judging her, like, oh, my God, this fucking drug addict, here we go. And it wasn't like that. But her perception of it is she felt like, you know, I'm not good enough for this man. Like, he cares about me, and I'm just going to do drugs. Like, and it just, like, it spiraled, you know, eventually more and more and more to where, you know, and it.
Because you knew you weren't going to judge her. You said, I'm not going to just tell me the truth. And so you really actually don't know how many more times after that, and before it started to spiral out of control, that she did that, because you weren't going to judge her. She knew she could tell you, and you were like, okay, at least she told me the truth. There was no accountability for her actions. If she felt that guilty about it, and now she filled you out, you know, and then this could go for anybody in your future. I mean, I'm 52 years old now. You know, we've been married for over 20 years. So, you know, it's taken some time, ups and downs and all that, but, you know, here we are, and we're still good. But it's not, it's a healthy relationship. There's no shenanigans like that, dealing with anything, drugs, alcohol, sexual abuse or anything. I got rid of that. I had to. It was bad. Mm-hmm. Not to mention it cost me a fortune. But
right.
Yeah. So you get out of the rescue mode and you learn to enjoy life.
Yeah, the thing is that, and this doesn't go for you, Dave, or your specific situation, but this goes for everybody, is that you can't save anybody from themselves. And you can't try to be like, oh, if only this person would see that, like, how much I care for them or how much I love them, and that I'm going to be there unconditionally all the time, and this, that, and the other. Like, it's not going to change somebody who doesn't for the reasons that it is just for themselves. You have got to want to change for yourself before you can change for somebody else. And that's not just your situation, that's just the way it is. You know, like, you could love somebody, you could care for, you could love somebody, you could care for somebody, and everything along those types, everything that goes with that. But if you don't love yourself enough to care for yourself, Jordan Peterson says, care for yourself as if you're somebody who should be cared for. A lot of times as people, we take really good care of our kids, or we might care about the feelings of our significant other, do anything for them, but we don't do a good job of taking care of ourselves. And in order for you to actually successfully be with somebody in some type of relationship, you got to care about yourself in a way that you're somebody who's worth caring about, that you're somebody who's worth saving. So you can't save somebody else. And you used the analogy earlier where you said, like, well, there's people I'm friends with that I look up to, like you, like Roman, like blah, 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 and it makes me want to be a better person, and it strives for doing that. But when you're talking about somebody has maybe some deep-rooted issues to where they don't care about themselves in that type of way, they don't know how to love themselves in that type of way. And there's a big difference between, we're talking about somebody who is showing you how to live a better life or how to do something different that's motivating you. That motivation is still intrinsically coming from within yourself. Like, I could do a bunch of cool shit in front of you, and you could be like, whoa, Bo's doing all this cool stuff, but it's still the motivation that comes from within you that lets me inspire you. Same thing with other people. I'm not saying I do anything great, but it's still you. It's what's coming from within you. So you can't save somebody else.
I'm not arguing that. I definitely believe that. But it's knowing that. It's being knowledgeable and understanding that those things happen. Like that's like trying to, when a child's reading a book. Like, I watched my 8-year-old read stuff, and sometimes he doesn't know what it means. Like, he's just reading the words because he knows how to read them and he knows how to sound them out in the letters, but he doesn't comprehend it like that. The difference is like being educated enough to know that loving yourself comes from within, and that that motivation has to come inside of you. You have to learn that like you do any other skill. And if you're not in positions or with people who have already learned it, like they learn it, and they may be going through it on their own, but just like I'm teaching my son to read, you can teach someone how to what it really means to love yourself. And like I said, just trying to decide, well, is that enabling? Is it not? Is it educating? Is it love? Is it not? Like, it could be various numbers of things. Like, there's no certain way that anything has to end up, but it just has to be real. Like, like you could say, like, so another example of my son, he's like, well, my mom told my brother, he was grounded for life, and he's like, she said it with that real voice. You know what I mean? Like, I believed her the way her voice sounds. So he, like, understood that there's a difference. Like, hey, this voice from mommy is the real one. Like, she means what she's saying right now. I don't want to do that. So, and you don't know those things. You learn them as you go. And like I said, being someone who can facilitate that knowledge and bounce those things off of, if they're even looking for it. Like, I need to know, I want to understand this. Okay, well, here's my understanding of it. Like, this is how I do it. And maybe they don't use your examples or anything word for word, and they apply it to their life exactly because they don't know